just so incredibly thankful for those seniors and incredibly happy for them and their family to be able to experience senior night here at West Virginia, get the win, be able to hear Country Roads with their families in attendance. It'll be a moment that they will never forget as a family unit for the rest of their lives. Honestly, it's one of the it's one of the coolest sports traditions, if not the coolest. And just again, for them to be able to experience that on a senior night, that's what I'm just so happy for. I'm so happy for the players in the locker room and their families. And that's about where my heart is just thankful for them and the commitment and the time they've put in to this program, and being somebody's got to be first and somebody's got to take the first step without really knowing what it looks like, and these guys did, and I'll be forever grateful for them, and just really excited and happy for their families as well. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and there's a big reason why these guys are so resilient and have so much character, and their families have a lot to do with that. So,
questions, please.
Ross, people assume these guys that come for just 1 year don't make attachments with the school or anything, but what have you seen out of this group?
Yeah, no. I think when they decided to come here, that was part of the attraction. They knew that they wouldn't just be representing a basketball program or a university, that you actually represent a state. And the way that they're received in public by real people, that they run into people, and whether it's grocery stores or parking lots, just the level of appreciation and gratitude that they feel from people in Morgantown is ultimately why they wanted to come here to begin with. It's special to play here and represent this state, and there's not a lot of places like it.
How important is it now that with the win you lock up a first round bye in the Big 12 tournament? How important is that you guys are going to get an extra day's rest before you play in the tournament?
Yeah, you definitely, if you have hopes of winning a tournament, you want to play the fewest amount of days possible. So that was big, gives us an extra day of rest. We kind of bookended the Big 12 play. We were the standalone game on a Friday night against Iowa State, the first weekend of Big 12 play, and we ended up being a standalone game tonight, with Central Florida at home. And, so we not only do you get the extra day of rest in that regard, but you get an extra day because you played on the Friday. So, that was big.
Ross, rebounding is so important for UCF, and they did beat you on the glass, but how did you guys still manage to win?
Well, in the first half, I thought we did a great job of defending without the foul in the first half in particular. We did not do a good job of that to start the second half. I think we had like 16 fouls right away. We settled back in, and, we were able to make up that with shot making. We shot the ball well, and they were, 3 of 16 from 3 and missed some free throws. And so that's how you ultimately were able to kind of distort that. And then also we only turned the ball over 7 times. And so with that level of offensive efficiency, then you can counteract the rebounding we've talked about in the past. If you don't have that level of offensive efficiency, then you can't counterbalance that. You can kind of counterbalance it a couple different ways. But fortunately, we shot free throws really well tonight. We had some shots to go down and took care of the ball, which was big.
I was going to say in the second half, I think it was 8 assists on 12 makes, and you only had 3 turnovers. So that's about as good as you can ask.
Yeah, just the efficiency on that regard and the fundamentals. I thought our guys did a great job.
Coach, what is it? For a guy that builds a program and a culture on defense, to talk about offensive efficiency, that seems like I don't know. I don't want to say oxymoron or whatever. But
yeah, well,
it was good tonight, though. Obviously.
Yeah, and I've always been pretty open about because like it's not football. And I've said that before. It's not football. Your offense doesn't run on the field, and they get they score. Now they run, and defense comes on. It's symbiotic. And one thing that a part of having a really elite defense and what we've had in the past is we always married that with a very efficient offense. Again, I don't want to talk about like the past and last year and all that stuff, but if you looked at it, like we had the second most efficient offense in our league last year. And so your offensive efficiency allows you to set your defense because you're not turning the ball over. You get matched up. It just allows you to set your defense, and a lot of times, the defense's best friend is a highly efficient offense. So when you can marry those two things, you typically get good results.
To that point, not turning the ball over, they weren't able to get in transition. How important was that?
Yeah, it was probably the stat of the game, honestly, because they're so explosive in transition. Fulks is such a good passer. They have such good athleticism, and if you're going to give them live ball turnovers, they're going to convert.
Hunter talked about how in his first phone call that you guys had, that you told him, how do I get you to shoot it deeper? Tonight he goes 4-14. He talked about how you just have all the faith. Can you just talk about that and what he's done for getting this program where it is?
Yeah, I mean he was the first. Like Jasper and Bilo obviously jumped in, and they had been around me, but he was really the first one of the new guys to like trust the vision and jump in, and he's such a weapon, and just knowing you're coming to this level, like, you're going to have to back up a little bit to get it over the length. And I just thought he's grown so much as a player. He really has over this year. He's seen just about every defense you can imagine. He's been the focal point of every team's defense that we've played. And he had some great looks in the first half that he didn't get to go down. But it had, in the past, maybe that would deter him or knock him off center, and he still was able to do other things to help us win. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnovers. His ability to take double teams and make plays has grown so much over this year. And yeah, I mean, I still get surprised when he misses. I do. If he shoots it, especially if he gets a clean one. If he gets a clean one, I'm sure everybody's kind of like, man, I'm surprised he didn't make that. That's the level of shot prowess that he comes with. That literally every time he shoots it, as long as he's not falling down, and even then sometimes you think it's going in.
With Brennan and Jasper being the only two seniors you've coached multiple seasons going up to this night, what can you say about their growth from the moment they walked through the doors of North Texas to now on playing their last home game at Hope Coliseum?
Yeah, Jasper is as mature of a human being that I've been associated with in college basketball as a player, graduate assistant coach, and now a head coach. His ability to handle success with the same level of humility and grace that he's able to handle the most gut-wrenching situations is a big reason why this team has been able to do that. He's the same guy when he walks into a locker room the next day, whether he shot an air ball against Clemson to win the game and we didn't win it, or when we were at Central Florida and he made 3 threes and buried them in his home the very next day, when he walks into a room, he will be the same person. And he will, if we had a media session or if he was coming to breakfast Wednesday morning after that K-State loss and everybody was just randomly at a food spot, he's not going to be walking in there with his head down and not wanting to make eye contact with people. He's going to have a big chest and big eyes. He's going to look at you, and he's going to be able to channel that pain and disappointment in a positive way. And on the flip side, if he has a great game, he's not going to walk in there pretending like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread because of it. And he's inspired me a lot in that way. And it makes me want to be better at that. And Bilo's grown as much as they're kind of like polar opposites if you get to know him. Like Jasper is an old soul. Like he has the soul of like a 73-year-old man. Like when he eats, I talked about this last night on the radio. When we eat team dinner, he's going to be the last person there. I mean, his parents should be really proud because he listened. Like when your parents tell you to like take a bite and set your fork down before you chew your food, and then he savors every moment. And Belo's kind of the opposite. Like Belo has a very young soul, and he's just grown so much as a person. And really as a player. I mean, he didn't play that much. If there was ever someone you wished the 5-5 rule would pass for, you wish it was for him. He was on a tremendous Final Four team his freshman year. He played like 30 minutes the whole year. And then he played sparingly as a sophomore. This was the first year he's started as a full-time basketball player, and you go from that to, I think now he's scored double digits in 12 straight Big 12 games. I mean, it's remarkable.
Ross, you've been on some teams that have gone on postseason runs, different levels, but like basketball's basketball on some degree. What does a team look like that can do some damage at this point of the year?
It's a team that wants to be around each other and legitimately wants to keep going. And there's a lot of teams around the country that do not want to keep going. And in some ways, that's what you're fighting for. Yeah, you're fighting to keep playing games, but if you really care about each other, you're fighting for like one more film session, one more plane ride, one more bus trip. And the teams that I've been around that have had the level of success that we've had, they enjoy being around each other this time of year. Special guard play always helps, and then you usually typically have to have an ability to win a game or two that is ugly or you were fairly fortunate to find a way to win in.
This is totally my observation, but you seem like you've been maybe a little bit more animated with sideline stuff or just like trying to get points across to players. What you do in a timeout, how you call a timeout, things like that. Is it because it's there somewhere? It's there somewhere, and it's not far away, and you just get it to that point? Because like the things you're talking about, for example, wants to be around each other. You said that how many times this year?
Yeah.
Right? It seems like there are some possibilities that are in play for you.
Yeah, and I want to give these guys everything I have. They've given us everything they've had from the moment that they've stepped on this campus, and I want to honor and respect them and be in the trenches with them and fight with them and, not let them down.
Anything else? Coach, as you were putting together, I mean, you brought this senior class, and sometimes maybe that was by design, or sometimes it just works out like that. Did you kind of go into the portal like, we've got to get older guys right off the bat just to kind of help this transition, or did it just kind of work out that you had like 6 seniors?
Yeah, well, the time period we're in now, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, 10 years ago, you could say, hey, we're going to build this, right? We're going to build this. We're going to get young guys. We'll probably take our lumps, get our teeth kicked in a little bit. They'll get better. Coach Beeline, when he first got in, then you reap the rewards of that. The hard part in this time period is you could do that. They could leave, or they, because there are external factors in play. I mean, it's not professional sports, but there is salary cap involved, and there is only so much that you can spread around. And then I think, just in general, everyone's more impatient. Fan bases are more impatient. Administrations are. I mean, across the board. So, and even myself, I'm a fairly impatient person. So I don't have a lot of interest because we put this team together with the belief that we could win games in March and could make a run in the NCAA tournament, and I still believe that this team can do that. Does that mean it's going to be perfect? No, it hasn't. But that was the intent, and to do that, you kind of have to you got to get the best players you can get with the best character and the characteristics that you're looking for, and these guys really married that in a lot of ways. And not that that's also why Amir's here and DJ's here, and we've, signed the freshman class that we have moving forward, and you hopefully you can sprinkle your young guys in and keep them around. But there is the level of you kind of got to try to get old and stay old a little bit while you can hang in with your young players and your retention, because that's a big part of it as well. You don't want to be doing it every single year. But, these guys just kind of fit the mold of what we were looking for, and they wanted to be here. That's the other thing. They wanted to be at West Virginia, and they all had numerous options, and they chose to play, for a first-year Big 12 head coach, first year at West Virginia. And like I said, I'll be forever grateful for that. It's not lost on me that these seniors trusted me with the last year of their career, and they wanted to be at West Virginia.
The fact that you have that large senior class. None of them have been to Kansas City, the Big 12 tournament. But the fact that you have this experienced bunch, does that sort of take some of the awe out of the new experience about to face?
That's kind of what's, like we've talked about before, that's what's interesting. We're here, like you said, we're 31 games in, and you're talking about a new experience for the first time with a group, and I think that's kind of exciting and adds a level of curiosity and, anxiety in a good way, and get to experience these experiences, all of us together. I told the team the other day, I will never forget, for as long as I live, the Pitt game. My first Pitt game here with them. I'll never forget that. As long as I coach, I'll never forget that moment. Some of the other wins, some of the gut-wrenching losses. Some of those moments where we collectively, all we had was each other. It's all you have in your family. And not all, like I said, there's a lot of very, very supportive people here that have been tremendous throughout the ups and downs of this season. And even just to the fans tonight to come out on a Friday night. But yeah, you're bonded in a lot of ways that are uniquely awesome, and you're bonded in some very painful low moments. And you've experienced it all together and stayed together.
One more on Honor. You said at some point during the season, you had to kind of pull him to the side and talk to him about flopping on the threes and stuff. He kind of told his version. Can you kind of how did that go?
I just told him the officials are too good.
Right.
The officials are too good at this level, and they talk. We have the best officials in college basketball. Just like everything else is the best. Best coaches, the best players, the best venues, the best everything. We also have the best officials in college basketball, and they have scouting reports, and you're not going to trick them. So just try to make it. I think one of the officials told him a good thing, told him hey, play the game as if you were at the rec or you're at the park. You're not going to be out there trying to bait calls. If you get fouled, you call foul. It's a foul. If not, don't try to trick them. And so, yeah, in my own way, like I said, it's like anything else. You kind of say it a few times, and then your patience level decreases with it. So, but to his credit, he's so coachable, and all these guys, man, they let me coach them. They let me coach them hard. They let me tell them the truth. The truth can hurt, but it can set you free as well.
The word on Honor was kind of, obviously the word was spreading on the shooting ability, but also on the trying to draw the foul.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and he's not alone. There's a lot of foul merchants in college basketball, and yeah, they talk.
People talk, yeah.
They talk. Those refs, they have us 4 or 5 times a year, and they're some you more, and they're back there getting stretched up, and they're talking hey, we got so and so tonight, gotta be on our toes, So
Ross, we've talked so much recently about slow starts. What did you see the first 10 minutes or so when the guys came out and played so great?
The ball going in the hole. The ball going in the hole. Thought Jasper got us off to a good start and finished some baskets around close to the basket, and Trey made a tough 3, and so yeah, just kind of, just was able to do that. And I felt at halftime, I felt a little uneasy because I thought we had actually played well enough to be up more than just 9. And obviously the Tuesday night game, I felt like we had played well enough to be up more than just 3. So in the back of your mind, you're like, dang, we should be up 15 right now. But to our guys' credit, they stayed the course in the second half and made the plays down the stretch.
You talked about those bumps, and one of those may have been free throw shooting on the year. Tonight you go 84%, one of your best games shooting the free throw. Talk about kind of the way that your guys have worked specifically on that throughout the whole season.
Yeah, and some of it is, again, I would love to. First of all, Chance has worked his tail off. He's put in so many unseen hours, and so him going 2 for 3 is awesome. Belo's pretty consistent on the year, as has Jasper been. He's a little off his career average, but he's typically a 70%er. If Honor's shooting 10 of your 20 free throws, you're probably going to have a good night at the foul stripe, and that's not to diminish the work anybody else has put in. It's just kind of like at times it is a make or miss business, and I said it in the BYU game, like you're a much better coach when the ball goes in the hole.
We'll take one more.
You mentioned earlier in the press conference that the second half you all started and you were just kind of like fouling, getting like a couple clumsy fouls, and then like second half of the second half, you all just locked in and you started to pull away. What did you say to the team whenever y'all had that timeout?
Yeah, I thought Coach Hurl did a good job, and Coach Shaw of just reminding our guys. We were getting spread out, which can happen in the second half because you're not in front of your bench. You get a little spread out with your shell defense, and Fulks is an incredible one-on-one player, and if you're just going to put him on an island with one guy to guard him, he's going to do what he was doing. He was just dribbling around until he got to a spot and made a shot or drew a foul. And so I thought we just did a little bit better job of condensing the open spaces, and Harlan did a really good job with his ball screen coverages and just made them play in tighter space, which allows the individual defender to be a better defender to play without the foul.
Coach, thank you.
Thank y'all.